And welcome back. We are moving into our second conversation for today. We're joined by Stephen Whyte, who is recently back to Belize. He left on a fellowship, the Hubert H. Humphrey Fellowship, through the U.S. Embassy of Belize. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Yes. So, Stephen, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to not only find out more about you and your experience with the fellowship, but the larger picture of taking advantage of opportunities like this fellowship, right? So how did you first become aware that this was something that was accessible to you?
I became aware from a best friend of mine that works in the education department.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that they offer these type of program and scholarship, and I should apply for it.
Yeah.
First, I think about it because I don't want to be away from my family, which is my mother, my sister, and brother. I said, I'm going to be away for an entire almost 10 months to a year, and I was so afraid. And then I said, you know what, it's time for me to focus on me and take up the opportunity. Yeah. And that's when I applied for the opportunity that's up there.
How rigorous was the application process?
Very rigorous. It takes a time. It takes that's why you have to apply very early in order to go. Like for next year, 2019, 2020, the application process will be open in August. Deadline is on August the 15th. Yeah. So everybody have to apply from then, and then you go through that application process. Then after that, you have interviewed some 4 panels. Yeah. And if you pass that, you're good to go.
And what about the fellowship interested you so much?
The best part of the fellowship that interests me is because you can develop yourself as an individual. It's a program that develops yourself. It focuses on what you want. So if you are a principal in the field of education, you want to become a better principal or manager in your field, it focuses on you. So whatever the program you set out, what you want to study and what you want to do. I wanted to focus more on leadership, team building. In education. Everything is education. In education, leadership, team building, and special education for our country. That was my next focus for the country, because I think we need to do more for advocate for children in special education.
Can we go back a little though for those of us who don't know what the Hubert H. Humphrey Fellow is? What is it?
Okay, the Hubert H. Fellowship is a program for professionals in the field of education, journalism, agriculture, whatever field you are in. The program offers you opportunity to network. It's a mutual exchange program that way you can develop yourself professionally, and also takes graduate course at the graduate level to develop yourself in the field that you're in.
Yeah.
And this is at Vanderbilt.
It's because my focus was in leadership administration, I was able to go to Vanderbilt University. But it all depends. If you're a doctor or a nurse, you go to Emory University. So they have like 10 or 13 other prestigious university that you can go. It depends on all the field of your major that you're studying.
And how is this different from probably doing almost the same things at UB or Galen? Is it not available in those local institutions?
It might be. You can say that maybe it might be there, but I think the level of the advance that you can, the opportunity that you can get to broaden yourself, to see the opportunity to get more, because it's not just based on academics. It's not an academical program. Yes, you're doing academical classes, but you also do mostly, we call it project-based assessment. So there's a lot of assessment that you go actually into the workforce and apply yourself in the field. Yeah. So it's not just that you sit down, study, read a book, do research and all those things. You actually get the experience in working in the field that you choose to work in. And
from what I've known of the fellowship with other professionals, it's tailored to give you the level of professional exposure and at top level. I mean, Vanderbilt University is a prestigious university.
Peabody is #1 in education, so I was glad to get the opportunity to go to Peabody and learn about the education system that they have there.
So what were you doing before?
Before I leave Belize, I was a primary school principal in Placencia at St. John's Memorial Anglican School for the past 5 years, which I love. I love my job, and I enjoy working at in St. John's.
And then you saw this opportunity to develop yourself professionally. And what are some of the major takeaways that you've experienced in the past 10 months?
In the past 10 months? The major takeaways that before I left, I wanted to learn more about alternative discipline. We take out corporal punishment out of the classroom and we put in this thing called alternative discipline, but no one really teaches us or tell us what is alternative discipline and the process of using it. So I think that was one of my biggest takeaway that I went away and learned myself. I was also a competitive person, that I love to compete than share information sometime. So I think that my biggest takeaway that it makes me to know more to share with each other the information that we have, because information as well. And when we work as a team, we can better for each other. I also wanted to learn more about team. I think I had a wonderful staff, we were the best staff, but there was also this feeling that I had that I wanted to learn more to build my team together. And I think it gave me a lot that we can do a lot of teamwork together for our staff.
I was going to ask you, what as you were during the fellowship, what were some of the things that you looked at and said, well, I can't wait to get home and try that?
Yeah.
But you piqued my interest in terms of alternative
Discipline.
Yeah.
Give us a peek as to something that you said, why this could work. If I get to the ministry and the Minister of Education and I tell him this, I think that we'd solve a lot of issues here.
Well, it depends, because maybe it will work in some areas and maybe not some areas.
Yeah.
So, but the best part about it is that it's focused mostly on alternative discipline. I think what the school need to do is that it focuses on bringing everybody together. As we, in the future, they say that a village raises a child, and it's going back to the identity of having a village raising this child. So it's having all the shareholders in education, which we call the 4 pillars of education, which is the students, the teacher, the management, and the community, working together as one in order to discipline this child and bring this child forward so that they can get the education, the needs that they need in order to success in the education field.
Give me some more specifics, though, please, because in terms of...
Teach us some alternative discipline options
or methods
that you have learned.
Well, the one that I've learned is best up is about, the first step is about communicating with the child. That's the first step. Don't try to fight with the child. You know, if you get a child and they do a problem, the first thing you want to do, oh, you did that wrong, you did this wrong. We want to get down to the child instead of meeting the child at the level and working with that child. I think the best part is that you reaching the child level and working with that child. The other thing you do with that is that you connect, you created like a system on your computer. And the first thing that teachers need to do and leaders need to do is that you have a list of things that you know, like things that you take at the teacher's level and things at the principal level. For example, a child talking back to you in a classroom, who should deal with that? Should that be at the principal level or at the teacher's level? You need to know that at the beginning, that that is you as a teacher, because if you lose, that child loses the respect, you lose your entire classroom management for that child. So you need to discipline that. So at that first step, that child will be given one warning. After that child reach that warning and so the child break it again and did something wrong, then he'll be connected to someone in the school that he can relate it to, or someone within the community that can help that child to grow and change his behavior. So that person is going to work with that child in order to help him manage his behavior and also to guide him on way and steps that he should go if he wants to be a better person in our country.
I just love hearing this from a school leader, because, you know, oftentimes people, sometimes people in society are convinced, sometimes people from the ministry level are convinced that we need to move away from corporal punishment, and we've made policy changes already. And usually we hear from the teachers, oh, but what am I supposed to do? So I really love hearing that from you as a student, as a leader of an institution. So do you now make plans in how to put this all into effect in your school, and also give your teachers the level of sensitization that you have had? Because it's such a shift from what we're accustomed to.
I think I plan to do it not only in my school, but I have already visited the Ministry of Education here in Belize, and I can say that Ms. Davis, as the head of the education department, they have a wonderful alternative program that they're trying to bring into the city school in order to move forward, which is almost focused on what I'm talking about. So I think that I can see, and I plan to work with the ministry in order to help them get this program success in the school in Belize.
Is it that Placenta might lose you and you might give national service? Don't have to answer that.
But going back, so alternative discipline was one. But let me move back. So you leave Placentia, you leave a village where you're managing a school of how many kids?
It's about 200, and it was like 246 at the time I left.
And then you go to these prestigious universities and you are working with them to learn more about how you can be better in your job. Was it intimidating at all? Were you were there any specific challenges to kind of inserting yourself into this environment that's so different from what we're accustomed to?
I don't think it was intimidating for me at all because I was willing to learn.
Yeah.
As I always tell my staff, you should always be ready to train yourself. If you have an associate's degree, try to push yourself to get a bachelor's. If you have a bachelor's, go for your master's. If you have a master's, you go for your doctorate. Don't stop studying to prolong yourself. And I think because I have that instilled in me that I always want to grow and learn, I think it makes it much easier for me in order to go.
Yeah.
And I also think that our university here also prepares you for out there. If you apply yourself, also prepare. Because I went to University of the West Indies and we do a lot of research and study days. So I think I was prepared in order to meet the next steps, to be successful in this program.
What are the other components of the fellowship that really help to enrich this experience?
The other components, apart from the classes that you take graduate courses at high level, and you can choose the classes that you like. The best component is also that you get to work in the fields of all the fields that you like, and you get to visit different businesses to see how they are doing. Like what I did, like I travel a lot within the US, but I go to all different schools. In that I can see what this school is doing good, that is working, and what this school is not doing, and how can I come back and apply it back home to my country.
Tell me about some of those experiences. What school did you see that you said, they're doing something that I want to do back home and I can do back home?
I think the school that I see that we can do back home is where I did my, I will start at the secondary school, is where I did my internship for 6 weeks, because you have 2 internships that you have to take. Professional internship, and I did 6 weeks at Upper Sinclair High School. And I think the administration, what I see that they done with the school and the community working together is something that I think we can do back home in order to uplift our students. And it's called Upper Sinclair High School. And they focus on 3 areas, giving the children. First area is life skills, preparing that for that workforce. The second area is giving them that emotional support that they need. And the third area is inclusive, so everybody is involved into growing. And one thing that I said they did a lot that we can do back home that I see the students appreciate is that they give them a lot of accolades. Like they had a dinner banquet that you can go, you were successful in this program that they had, you get a dinner program, you get a certificate, and that shows that the children build leadership and they always want to get the certificate to go more. They have what is called a program for students, like we call it Students of the Month, but they call it a president program that the type student, the teacher will write like a 2 pages report on the child, and the child will be given a nice award that they can take and put on their transcript when they graduated from the school.
Nice.
So that was something
rewarding good behavior.
Yeah, rewarding good behavior, which is really good. And from the elementary level, I think what we need to do is that most of what I see Tennessee is putting is called a literacy program, and I think it's something easy that we can do. And that is my main focus. I want to develop a literacy program for our country that focus on making children more competent in maths, language, social studies, and science. And I think if we have a program like that, they can do successfully any external or internal exam that they have to take.
We've forgotten a very important element here, which is this is a free program. You're sitting in universities, top-notch universities, sitting in classes with other people who are paying tuition, but you do it for free, and where you stay and everything else is covered. So the entire 10 months
entire 10 months
abroad.
is covered abroad. It's for free. You just have to know how to budget your money and focus on what is important. And that was the best part, because the program is free, and as you said, you are in the classes that other people are paying, especially at Vanderbilt University is a really expensive university. But one thing I like about it is that the class size are very small, so they always pick on you. They can see you. So it's like only 15 of you are in the classroom. So you have to make sure you read and prepare yourself, which I think is really good.
And you were comfortable in a class with what would have been younger students who were continuing on education?
Continuing education. Because I was shocked to see that some children were like 20, some students were like 23 doing their doctorate. Because you can sit even in doctorate classes and do classes at doctorate level, which was really good.
Now you came back and you've come back with energy and passion and enthusiasm. But this is Belize. And when you make some of the envy, some of the ignorance, some of the frustration, some of the overwhelmingness of what the education system is, because it's very difficult. You have police, and then you have probably the teachers, and then you have people who are prison officers. I think that's the level of stress, high level. How do you plan to sustain your level of optimism and enthusiasm to get some changes in some areas that you think we really need as a nation to make the changes?
I think first that I will always put God first. I like to pray. And I think that I ask him every day to guide me and to help me. And I think if you have a vision and a mind to set that you can be successful. And that is my thing. And there are teachers out there, there are managers out there that want helps, but they don't have the support that they want. So you have to present yourself and tell them that you can do this and this is the way you want to help them. And they're going to be willing. I was glad that when I called the ministry and talked to Dr. Davis, Miss Davis, and she said, come, and I was able to do a presentation on my studies and how I can help, which was really good. I also already contacted Nancy, and I have to do a workshop for them coming on the 7th of August in literacy, and I was glad that when I contacted Ms. Thomas and she said, yes, come ahead and you can do the workshop for half day for the section for us.
That was going to be one of my questions in terms of what's the commitment as a Belizean receiving the fellowship to come back and share the information? Is it left up to you that you make these contacts, or is it a requirement of the fellowship?
I think they ask you to do it, but most of all, I think it's left up to you as an individual. But I think what the fellowship gives you when you go there is that you want to do more for your country. I don't make sense that you go out there and get this wealth of information and don't bring it back and share it to your country. And that is what I want to do with the information that I have. So to share it with my country. I also plan to meet with the Minister of Education to see how he can help me to develop this literacy program that I told you about, because children need the support in school. I am walking along the street and there some people said, how much you charge me for my children to do tutoring, to tutor my child? And we know some of the parents cannot afford it. So we want to offer that support for them that they have. Majority of our parents now, if you see the country becoming single parents and they have to work. After a child leaves primary school in the evening in high school, they don't have the extra support. So I think we need to provide that support as a country for these children in order to be successful.
And I have another very important practical question. Everybody else is out there, they're jumping online to see if they can apply for this fellowship and see if they fit the professional criteria, whatnot. How does one get 10 months away from their job to be a part of the fellowship? You know, did you have to apply for study leave through the ministry? I mean, how practical is it?
Yes, after you get accepted, you do have to apply for 10 months leave or a year leave that I did. I did a school year leave, one school year leave, and at first it was a bit difficulty, but I think if you sell yourself good, you can be successful at getting it. And I think if more management will really look into the program and so it can benefit their businesses and also the country, it's going to be easier for them to release the workers to go. I think the problem is that they don't have knowledge information about how wonderful the program is, and they themselves can even apply for the program that will also help to develop them. So I think that will be another way. So if you have a worker that apply for this football, go online and see what it's all about, read up about it, and give them the opportunity to go and do it, because they're coming back, the wealth of information that they come in is for free. They're getting to come and develop Belize. And we need all the help that we can help to develop our country.
Of course, of course. And I know the application period is now open, so you can apply now.
Yes, the application.
Any tips or tricks as to how to give yourself that edge?
Well, I just say that apply early. Get somebody to help you read your question. And if you want to choose, because you have to send in 2 references, choose somebody that you know that are good for your commitment and development, and others that will support you. And people in the society that they will look up to, you know, for the application. So choose good. But the embassy have also increased it 5 more days, because the deadline was the 10th of August, and they have extended it to the 15th of August for the 2019-2020 application. So you still have a chance, it's not too late.
Yeah, so you have 2 weeks to be able to get in the application. Are there any requirements that you know of?
There's not much requirement. You just go online and complete the online process. Everything is done electronic, even the references from the two other referees. It's easy online. They send them an email automatically. They get it back. You get back an email and say, okay, your references have already answered your application. So it's nothing difficulty.
Awesome.
You don't have to pay transportation fee, paper fee, anything. Scan all the document, everything electronic. Easy process. Nice. And they give you a call.
Okay. And I hope you've made some great networking contacts. Maybe you bring them to Belize and...
Yes, that's one other good thing about the program. You network with a lot of people from different countries, and you also have that network that you can use future So if I have a question that I'm researching and I want help, I can send it to one of the professors there, or maybe the family friend that we were connected with, and they can help you. That's the next good thing, they connect you with a family friends that help you, that are in your field of education. So they're probably retired person, people working in university, that can help you and give you that guidance.
Nice.
Awesome.
So
all right.
it's easy.
Yeah. So you're going back to school come September in Placencia?
I have to say it national, countrywide, but coming September, I am now on long leave.
Oh.
So until December 5th, then I will see which school I'll be at.
Okay.
But I'm using this time to try to put my program together. And in school, I see that we have a lot of reading teachers. I want to change it, the government to change to literature coaches. And I have a lot of skills that I don't mind share with them, and techniques and reading techniques that they can use together. So I'll be having some workshops that I will come back with you guys. And we also have I have a lot of professional development skills or team building skills that I can share with different businesses that I'm contacting and ask them if they want me to help.
Can I ask you this? In addition to doing the training, there's a huge void in Belize. I made the mistake of trying to teach some years ago. I'm horrible at it. Teachers are specific and special people.
Yeah.
But there's an absence of publications. Do you ever see yourself taking all that you have learned on this fellowship in specific areas and having a series of manuals or literature so that if you're not here, you can just
pass it on?
Pass it on.
That was what I was thinking about. I'm also thinking about doing what is called like a simple brochure about the program and what all it offers and what all I can offer back to the country, because I cannot do everything in 1 year. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I said I would just do a portion of what I've learned, create a manual that is important, and give it to people like, okay, this is what the Hubert Humphrey's program offers you, and this is what I can give back to my country if you need help. This is what, and my contact information where they can reach me and everything. So,
well, Stephen, congratulations on being awarded the fellowship, and thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about the experience. And we're happy to hear that the first thing on your priority list is sharing that information with everyone else.
That's it. Thank you very much for having me here.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking to the Belize Visionary Foundation of Baseball and Softball. So stay tuned.